Hello everybody, welcome back to another video, and today we will be looking at another possible 2028 presidential election prediction. This time, last time we did Jon Stewart versus JD Vance. This time we're doing Stephen Smith, another American television personality. This time, as his running mate, we have John Ossoff. So first let's talk about Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith, he is an ESPN host, sports analyzer. I think it's analyst. So, kind of well known. I'd say he also has the same name recognition around the same name recognition as Jon Stewart. He hasn't been as critical of Donald Trump as some other personalities. Also, just Jon Stewart. But if he were to run for president in 2028, he would definitely run as a Democrat. That's kind of guaranteed. So the Republicans, they will nominate Vice President J.D. Vance to go against him. His running mate will be Secretary of State Marco Rubio. So let's start off with the safe Democratic states: California, Washington, Hawaii, Oregon, the District of Columbia, Maryland, Rhode Island, Delaware, Massachusetts, Connecticut, and Vermont. We're also going to put in that one electoral vote from Maine's 1st Congressional District, and that is going to round up the safe Democratic states. Now let's go to the safe Republican states: Wyoming, Idaho, North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska's 3rd Congressional District, Nebraska at large, those 2 electoral votes there, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Missouri, Tennessee, Mississippi. Actually, no, Missouri should be fine. Alabama, Louisiana, Kentucky, West Virginia, and Indiana. So that brings J.D. Vance to 96 electoral votes and Stephen Smith to 120 electoral votes. Now, let's move on to the likely states. These margins are any margin between 5 and 15 percentage points, and the safe states were any margin above 15 percentage points. So now let's do the likely Democratic states. These are to be Colorado, New Mexico, New Jersey. So New Jersey obviously is shifting to the right. I don't think it'll get competitive until the 2030s, but New Jersey, it definitely is kind of close. I'd say D plus, around 3 or 4 percentage points. So that's what's gonna. Sorry, no, not 3 to 4. Around 6 or 7 percentage points. New Jersey still shifting to the right, just not competitive yet. Same thing with New York. This is Stephen A. Smith's home state, raised in the Bronx. So, New York, New York is also shifting to the right, even though it is his home state. He's not going to be able to win it by a safe margin. But New York is going to be around D plus 9 percentage points. Okay, now Illinois. Kind of the same situation with New York and New Jersey. It is shifting to the right, not competitive yet. I'd say around D plus, 8 percentage points. We're also going to be putting the state of Virginia in the likely Democratic column. This one's shifting to the left. It was competitive around a decade ago, but now it's not. Virginia is going to go D plus 7 in this scenario. We're going to put Maine at large, those 2 electoral votes there in the likely Democratic column as well, and that is going to round up the likely Democratic states. That brings Stephen A. Smith to 200 electoral votes. So now let's do the likely Republican states: Kansas, Montana, Utah, South Carolina, Florida, and Texas. So we're also going to put Nebraska's 1st Congressional District there, as well as Iowa and Ohio, J.D. Vance's home state. So Kansas, Utah, Montana, and South Carolina. These 4, they're just normally in the likely category. Pretty safe Republican states, just not over 15 percentage points of a margin. Florida, this one, you have, it's trending to the right. I feel like Stephen Smith, he and a couple other Democrats could keep this under safe, but I don't know if Florida's going to be likely or safe of a margin in 2028. Texas, this one's This one was shifting to the left at least. I kind of don't know anymore. I'd say it's still shifting to the left slowly, but Donald Trump definitely slowed that down. Okay, now Maine's second congressional district and Alaska. So these two, Alaska is also shifting to the left. A good Democratic candidate could get Alaska competitive in the next decade or so. Maine's second district, kind of the same thing there, but still that brings J.D. Vance up to 219 electoral votes. Okay. Before we move on, I'm going to put Nebraska's second congressional district, that electoral vote there, also in the likely Democratic category. Now let's move on to the lean states. These are states that have been decided by 1 to 5 percentage points of a margin. So, 107 electoral votes left. Let's see who reaches 270 first. Starting off with Minnesota and New Hampshire, these two were the closest major swing states. So there were 7 major swing states: Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Georgia, Arizona, and Nevada. But Minnesota and New Hampshire were the closest. But besides those two, they're still going to go Democrat. But Minnesota goes 4 points to Smith. New Hampshire goes 3 points to Smith. That brings Smith up to 226 electoral votes. Now, the lean Republican states, we're going to start with Arizona. Arizona, this one was Donald Trump's best swing state in 2024. Went around 5 to 6 points for Donald Trump. Vance is favored to win it again, I believe. Stephen Smith, he doesn't really specialize in the West. I don't think he would do that good. But J.D. Vance and Marco Rubio, they win Arizona by around 3.5 points. Now, Georgia, Stephen A. Smith, he would do fine among African American voters in Georgia. Honestly, if J.D. Vance, I don't think J.D. Vance is going to be able to win African Americans as good as Donald Trump. So Stephen Smith might be able to shift some big metropolitan areas back to the left. Shift them to the left a couple points again. So, and obviously the Atlanta suburbs, I think they would also shift left again if Stephen A. Smith is a candidate. So Georgia Democrats, this is definitely going to be their best swing state if this is a matchup. So those 16 electoral votes go to Stephen A. Smith. Now, Pennsylvania, I will put in the lean Republican category. J.D. Vance, this is like the best swing state that he would contribute in. Like Arizona, it's gonna be his best swing state, I believe, but it's not because of him, you know. It's kind of because the MAGA base. Donald Trump created a very good MAGA base in Arizona, but Pennsylvania, I feel like Vance would actually contribute his abilities in Pennsylvania. He would do good among voters, because Pennsylvania and Ohio, they're kind of brother states, sister states, or whatever you want to call it. Very similar. Those voter bases there, similar. But J.D. Vance, I would say he wins Pennsylvania by around 2 points in this scenario. All right, now let's go to North Carolina. I will be putting into the tilt Democratic category. Stephen A. Smith, he would do good in North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia. Obviously, South Carolina isn't competitive, but North Carolina is. So, if Josh Stein, the incumbent Democratic governor, still continues to do fine, and so far he is, North Carolina would go to Stephen A. Smith. This is kind of toss-up, and also if Roy Cooper does well in the 2026 midterms. So, Stephen A. Smith wins North Carolina. He does pretty good. J.D. Vance doesn't do that well in the Sun Belt. So North Carolina goes to Stephen A. Smith by 0.8 percentage points. Now, let's go to Wisconsin. I will be putting into the tilt Republican column. This is probably J.D. Vance's second best swing state, better than Michigan. So Wisconsin was the most blue swing state of the 7 main ones in 2024. Trump only won it by around 0.8 percentage points, and I believe J.D. Vance would win it by 0.5 percentage points in this prediction. That would bring J.D. Vance's electoral college count to 259 to Stephen A. Smith's 258, with just 2 states to go, Michigan and Nevada. So, let's move to Nevada. Nevada, I will be putting into the tilt Republican category as well. the Latino population here, J.D. Vance kind of loses, but Marco Rubio recovers some of that. He nets a couple of those lost Hispanic voters in Nevada. That brings it to 265. Nevada was relatively quite one of the bluer swing states until 2024, where Donald Trump really carried the Hispanic populations more than he did in 2020, more than he did in 2016, and obviously before then Nevada was actually bluer. So, J.D. Vance, he keeps it by only around 0.5 percentage points, and now all comes down to Michigan. If Stephen A. Smith wins Michigan, he crosses 270. If J.D. Vance wins Michigan, he crosses 270. And J.D. Vance will win Michigan in this scenario by also tilt Republican. So 3 states decided by under a percentage point here. If you didn't know, tilt is less than a percentage point of a margin. Those 15 electoral votes in Michigan will go to J.D. Vance. He will win it by, I'd say, around 0.4 percentage points, being the bluest swing state in this election. So, once again, this finishes it up. J.D. Vance 280, Stephen A. Smith 258, Marco Rubio will become the next Vice President of the United States, J.D. Vance will become the next President of the United States. So, once again, if you joined this video, please recommend subscribing or liking it. So, you can also comment down which candidate you would like to see go against J.D. Vance next. Right now, I'm thinking about maybe a Ruben Gallego, maybe Roy Cooper. So, once again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.